According to the National Electricity Regulatory Commission, electricity distribution companies reduced the national metering gap by 51,631 in November 2023. Determined to address the deficit, Momas Electricity Meters Manufacturing Company has emerged in over 2 decades a key stakeholder in the industry, from the production of meters, electric installation, and utility software. WebTV recently visited the MEMMCOL facility, which was an opportunity to engage the founder and CEO, Engineer Kola Balogun, on the progress made so far, the state of the electricity metering industry, and prospects ahead.
Our 30 years of experience in the power sector, especially on the downstream, was born out of passion for development and identification of the deficits on the downstream of cost recovery process in the energy value chain. The generation company and the transmission company were not making sufficient revenue to improve on their investments because there are no cost recovery process put in place. The only meter that was available at that time is the electromechanical meters, which eventually is not available for everybody. We then introduced this prepayment meter. This prepayment meter is more or less like an intervention to address all the deficits in the energy revenue recovery process at that point in time. It's almost 30 years now we started this journey, and today we have transited from importing that full-fledged meters into a development level where we design meter for the country. We are the only OEM in the country today. The journey is not funny. Been truncated, it's been challenged, it's been frustrated, but then we are not giving up. We still believe that we Nigerians have to solve our problem ourselves. The prepayment meter has not addressed the entire deficit in the revenue stream because of human interferences. Because if you have the best technology and you still have a bit of human deficit in terms of implementation, we still have all those errors. But we are not giving up. Everything that is required within the confinement of science in terms of making the meter more intelligent, more smart, to address all those deficits is what we keep putting in place to address all the leakages in the energy recovery or revenue recovery value chain, because your revenue base must be protected 100% for you to be able to guarantee cost recovery on the upstream. Upstream is the generation and transmission. That's where we are, and I'm glad I'm in the front run of pioneering those ideas that will make Nigeria zero tolerance for revenue leakages.
With the concerns raised recently by the Association of Meter Manufacturers Association of Nigeria on the foreign exchange market volatility and pressures of supply, he shared how MEMMCOL is navigating the challenge.
We will have transited totally to full localization if we have worked together as one single body to address development. But there's a bit of misalignment in terms of the development criteria and people with vested interest of making profit from importation. Because you must define where you want to belong. You must be ready to subsidize development. But you are subsidizing importation. That's what we're doing. If we have been subsidizing production or development, we will have gotten to the promised land where we may not need so much to import to produce meter in the country. It's a few ones. Like when you were with me on the factory tour, I told you some semiconductor, transistor components that are miniaturized in nature, which our culture has not permitted us to go into that layer of development. But now we'll have been thinking of it. If 15 years ago we have followed the developmental criteria that is required for us to have an harmonization over our metering requirement, so that we will have the same type of meter, the same kind of components, sub-components that are produced locally and shares among the various other manufacturers that will have made sense to us. But because of the interest of, I want to make quick profits, those are the things that is disconnecting us. But notwithstanding, the require for forex is still a major setback for anybody who wants to import raw material. But importing raw material with the little forex we have will have make sense, because every nation import one raw material or the other. If we are importing few number of raw material to produce a large finished good, we will export back and we'll still get more money to buy raw material, so we can circle ourselves within the industry, not necessarily depending on the national reserve. So we will have emerged ourselves in getting the external forex that will make us to buy our raw material, because we will have used that little one we are importing to build a finished good, export, and get more forex to bring raw material in. So that would have been a better way, but then we have lost that trajectory, that layer, but it's still not late, because metering requirement, metering deficit in the country is still very huge. And metering is a function of development. It's a proportionate to development. As your developer keep building houses, building factory, you need more meter of all kinds. We have all kinds of meters: class 1, class 2, class 0.5, industrial meter, domestic meter. Now we are going to renewable. You have renewable meter. It goes on and on. So it's a continuous development. So the earlier we can sit down and put heads together to make our country proud, the better.
On skills development in electricity meter production and power solutions in the country, Engineer Kola Balogun highlighted investments made by MEMMCOL.
As part of my corporate social responsibility, I've been trying all the best to transfer skill. Skill are in different phases. The first layer of skill is for you to even have people who can install this meter to the household correctly, to a standard that will not damage for 10 years, because meter is supposed to last for 10 years in the house. But if you install it wrongly, 1 year, 2 years, it will damage, it will burn. So we have done so much for the country in terms of transferring that skill. We have done some non-profiting training across the country. We have the profile there that we call for young, and we kit them. So those records are there. And we are going further to improve on our skilled transfer commitment to the country by training them on another layer of skill, which has to do with design. Design layer of electronics, conceptualization of all PCB and so on and so forth, and coding and so on and so forth. Those are things we are using to enhance skill. We have a lot to offer, but the encouragement has to be there. Because if you don't buy my meter, how will I get profit to do further training to people, to expand my corporate social responsibility, to engage some other third party? But if you are trading with other countries, you are sending our money abroad. So it's a decision the sector has to decide. What future do we have for our country? And you can see our population. It's not controlled. It's there. It's keep growing astronomically. And the interface that's supposed to address it is not being provided.
"2024 presents enormous opportunities for increased electricity metering, but for the CEO of MEMMCOL, ease of doing business and policy support for local content production is critical."
My prayer is that all stakeholders should keep engaging all the players in the industry to ensure that, yes, we come to the reality of local content. And local content should not be in the book. local content, I said, should not be in the face of the book. It should be in the face of reality, practicability, and measurability. They should be able to measure it, to see those who are really complying with it, and they should see it, they should feel it. That's local content. But if you are saying local content on the book and reading it and nothing, and the ease of doing business, the ease of doing business will be measurable. And those are things that this country needs to come up with. We should measure all our laws, all our reform agenda. It should be measurable so that we see it, the effect after and before. So these are things we need to do. I believe so much, we can do so much, and I pray that this new government, especially under the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, should be able to do that. Renew hope agenda should be measurable. We should be able to measure what have we accomplished in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 1 year, 2 years, and so on and so forth. That's my prayer. Thank you.
As a leading Nigerian original equipment manufacturer in the power sector, MEMMCOL has demonstrated capacity to provide innovative electric metering solutions with unique hardware and software designs, purpose-built substations, and standard token specification technology that's revolutionized the power downstream sector. This is a positive step in Nigeria's quest to boost local content production in the power downstream segment, which will require the necessary policy support and buy-in of stakeholders.